Have you noticed a change in your relationships with other people lately? Is it sometimes difficult or awkward to talk to others about spiritual topics? Do you at times feel alone in your beliefs? Have you lost contact with any longtime friends recently? You are not alone. I'm fortunate to have a lot of Facebook friends who post similar types of links. Too many times I see a lot of people who talk the talk but are afraid to walk the walk due to being ridiculed for their thoughts and posts. Groupthink. I've lost some longtime friends because of this, but have made many, many new ones. Once the ego is released, you no longer worry about conformity and peer pressure. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that structures various belief systems within a group of people while discouraging individual creativity and independent thinking. Even within a group of individuals who are spiritually awakened, you will find groupthink. If you look at the recorded history of mankind, you'll find that this history is merely someone's interpretation of a landmark event or evolutionary process, backed by eyewitness testimonial, scientific data, video, or faith. The actual truth may be hidden or distorted for many reasons, but mostly for control and power. Look no further than the origins of mankind, and you'll find a plethora of creation myths from all cultures with varying dates of our existence. Who's right? Can you talk to your friends about the universe? Do they know what a stargate or chakra is? Are they willing to talk about ascension or spiritual enlightenment? When you talk to people about the creation myth, they tend to remain inside the box with a belief system that supports religion's story of creation, which dates mankind back to 4000 BC. If you raise questions about our true origins, it tends to separate people in relationships between those who think outside the box versus those who think inside the box. When these topics arise within relationships, they often create dissension. It's hard for anyone to admit they've been deceived for so long, and even more difficult to admit they were possibly wrong in their assumptions. This is a prime example of how our educational systems keep us locked inside the box without questioning anything about what we've been taught. Those who remain inside the box are afraid of what others might think if they venture outside the box, so they remain complacent and subservient, while conforming to what society dictates rather than relying on their own discernment and judgment. People could live their entire lives pretending to be what society expects them to be and not even know it. From an ego perspective, our thoughts are basically cultivated by what we've learned from our family, friends, educational systems, and religious beliefs. But what have we truly been taught? What can we say about anything that wasn't regurgitated to us by someone else? As evidenced by past life regressions, our previous lives and soul history remain dormant in our cellular DNA and can be recalled through our subconscious minds through hypnotherapy. Within your cellular DNA, you actually remember being back with the source along with all of the things you wanted to accomplish during this incarnation, as well as all of the challenges you wanted to overcome and all of the people who would lead you to where you are. This includes the people that have come and gone from our lives. Sometimes we project to be someone that we expect others to see in us. In psychology, this is referred to as the shadow self, where we project an identity that conforms to how other people may perceive us versus being true to who we really are. Some people may find out that they never know who they were because they live their lives through the expectations of how others will perceive them. Those who have begun their spiritual journeys may also be confronting these issues, which initially creates cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance occurs when you get an uncomfortable feeling caused by holding conflicting ideas simultaneously. This is the transition period that many of us have gone through, where our beliefs have changed, yet we're unsure about relating these new ideas to our friends and family due to fear or rejection. As our spiritual journeys continue, we become more comfortable within our own beliefs and less concerned about how our friends and family view this awakening. This is when the ego becomes separated from the self and fear is dissolved by love. At this juncture, we begin to talk to acquaintances, as well as friends and family, about spiritual and metaphysical topics with less regard about what they might think of us or how we may be perceived by others. In time, spirituality will be the predominant frame of mind, and it's likely that those who have strayed from us will be the first in line to ask for help in adjusting to the new paradigm. Remember this: you are not alone. Those who truly love you will stand by you no matter what. Those people who are no longer part of our lives have already played their role in helping us find out who we truly are. Sometimes it takes polarity to be able to differentiate who we are and where we're going. This is where the unawakened help immensely by providing that contrast which allows us to see the differences. Envision each awakened person across the planet holding a candle. While your individual candle may not seem like a lot of light, it greatly contributes to making the world full of light and keeps us connected no matter how far apart we may be. While it may be painful to lose some dear friends, think about what they have brought to your life and why. Chances are you'll end a few old relationships with people who were at one time very close to you, only to create new relationships with like-minded people. Forgive yourself as well as your friends if you feel badly about this. They came into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Welcome everybody to the 11th episode of Earth Created. This is literally the 11th attempt at recording this episode. I recorded a whole episode before that was over an hour, and I started to post up the pieces. I had it all put together, and I put up one part on YouTube, and then I was just like, this is crap, and something was telling me to take it down. So I took it down. And then of course, right after, my friend Jonna emailed me and was like, did you take down the episode? And I love you, Jonna. You're right there listening to my episodes whenever they go up. And I appreciate you so much. And for anyone who wants to check out Jonna's channel, I highly recommend it. She is Shadow Stalker 2011, and 2011's in numbers. So Shadow Stalker 2011. And yeah, her episodes are really, really great. I'm actually going to sit back this weekend and listen to every single one, starting from the beginning. So here we are already. August 26th? Seriously? I didn't even know that's what the date was. I thought it was the 24th, and I just checked my computer and I'm like, 2 days have disappeared. What's going on? If you haven't noticed, time has sped up an incredible amount. Before I kind of get, today's topic is everything. It's absolutely everything. The article that I started the show with was written by Greg Prescott. If by any chance you're listening, Greg, I love you. You write awesome articles. And for anyone who wants to check out his stuff, go to in5d.com. So that's in5d.com. Or go to Maya, and when I say this, all the numbers are in numbers. They're not in words. Okay. Maya 12-21-2012.com. So those are his two sites. They're sister sites to each other. And they're run by Greg Prescott, and who is a great writer and a great inspirer. Can you say that? A great person who inspires. And I especially lately, have been reading all of his articles, and they're all amazing, and none of them are crazy long. So if you ever have that syndrome, the too long didn't read syndrome, you're not going to get it with his articles, which is really wonderful. But the Maya 12-21-2012 site, which I just call the Maya Forum, and maybe he does too, I don't know, but I've just called it that because it's easier. When I started my Mega Awakening almost 3 years ago, that was one of the sites that I got directed to. I got directed to Project Camelot because Project Avalon didn't exist then. I got directed to Project Camelot. I got directed to David Wilcock. I got directed to Maya 2012. And I got directed to Above Top Secret, which I gotta say I don't recommend, because just like Godlike Productions, everyone there is a skeptic of everything. So you can put up anything. You can put up an incredible experience that you had, and people are going to be not very nice about it. Just because they don't believe it, because it didn't happen to them. I highly recommend going to Project Avalon or Project Camelot, or going to Maya, the Maya Forum, Maya 12-21-2012.com. And check out everything they got there. He's got tons of videos, he's got links, he's got articles, and there's the forum. And the forum is really great. There's so many incredible people there. And everyone is so supportive, and everyone is so kind. It really is a community at the Maya Forum. And I would say it is at Avalon and Camelot too. So go and check it out. So here we are, apparently August 26, 2011 already. Oh my God. It's been almost 2 months since I've come to you guys and done an episode, and I'm definitely not going to be able to do one every single week. I'm going to try to do one once a month. If I can do that, that's my goal, to do one once a month. If I can do more than that, that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to stick to once a month at least. I have been so busy. all very positive. Well, I've had some emotional things that have happened that have been really shitty, but, like family dramas and bullshit and stuff like that. And actually, ironically, I'm not going to get like too into detail because I don't want to like throw anybody under the bus or, point a finger or whatever, because I just don't want to create more drama. I'm just not a dramatic person. This article really ties in with that, especially where it's talking about conforming yourself to be the person that society or others expect you to be. And that's the situation that I'm in with, in this family drama, is me conforming, me sacrificing myself in order to make somebody else happy. And I think on a small level, I think we should be doing that, on a day-to-day basis, and that's called compromise. But when it gets to the point where you're completely giving up who you are in order to make someone else happy, and that person really isn't appreciative of any of your efforts, I think it's time to move on. That's my advice for today. I think it's really important to stay true to who you are. And at the end of the day, you don't have to live with the person that's given you issues. I mean, unless, of course, it's your partner. But, if it's family and you don't live at home anymore, you don't got to live with that person who, gives you issues. You got to live with yourself. That's what's important, is remembering who you are and where you're going and what your purpose is. And we covered this in the 9th episode, your life's purpose. So I thought today that was a really good topic. And also the fact that I've gone through this myself, where I had some friends who, I look back on it now and they weren't the greatest of friends. We didn't have a real deep relationship, but it was a long relationship and it was a great relationship and it was a fun relationship and we were there for each other. We just didn't get into anything that's meaningful to me today. And those relationships have fizzled out, and I'm okay with that because honestly, I mean, the people who I've, quote unquote, put behind me in my life have been incredibly conditioned by the system, and I'm not okay with that. I'm anti the system, I'm anti conditioning. I'm anti thinking inside the box, so, sometimes that's difficult for me. But just like what Greg Prescott is saying, he's quote unquote lost a lot of friends, but he has found so many new ones, after his mega awakening. So that was just a really, a good article to start with. I'm just having a drink of water with lime juice in it. I know this is the greatest episode ever, just listening to me drink stuff. And that's fresh juiced carrot juice. So anyway, we are living in amazing times. There's been so much happening. There's been so much going on. I do adhere to a certain extent. I do adopt the end times scenario reality, but I don't believe in the doom and gloom end times scenario reality. I put a lot more stock into the ascension scenario because I see the people around me, and while yes, there are still some conditioned people, it's really amazing to see the amount of people who have woken up. And I find that every time somebody is waking up, they're starting to jump down that proverbial rabbit hole, they come to me. Granted, I can give anybody lots of links, to great sites, to great articles, to great shows, radio and television, online television anyway, so there's a lot of information that I have, so that makes sense. The universe tends to send me somebody. But, we are seeing a great change in people. And I think I've mentioned this on the show before, the everyday factory worker kind of mentality, people are starting to get out of that, and we still have people that are like that, obviously, otherwise things would be very, very different, but they're already pretty different. I mean, look at today compared to like 1995 or something, we are definitely living in strange and exciting times. And I mean, 2 days ago, I'm here in St. Thomas, Ontario, and I felt Virginia's earthquake, and, my father did, and I believe my sister did. And, so many people did, like really, really incredible. I had lots of family members who posted on Facebook, and of course, as soon as it happened, I posted and I went, "Did you feel that earthquake?" You know, and I had a couple responses, and but I was just, you know, chilling out, and I was having my breakfast, you know, my fresh juice, carrot juice, and my glass of water with lemon in it. And today I'm having lime because I don't have any lemon. And my chair just started like kind of like swaying back and forth, and something told me immediately, earthquake. And then I turned and I looked at our standing fan, and it was waving back and forth. And then I heard clink, 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 because I have a bunch of wind chimes hanging up on a beam, which is a feng shui trick, by the way, to keep energy going in a room. If you have a beam that like separates like one half of the room from the other half of the room or whatever, hang wind chimes, or hang, if you can't, hang like a red ribbon or something like along it, not hanging down, but like tape it across the beam or whatever. And that will, like across the length of the beam, and that will help to thwart like any like energy, like any chi from just like hitting the beam and just staying there, because the beam acts as like a blocker. And especially if you're like in a bedroom or something too, it's just a little feng shui lesson for you. Especially if you're in a bedroom or something too, and there's a beam, and like an exposed beam that is basically sitting between, like sitting in the middle of the bed. So it ends up, what that ends up doing is it ends up separating the two people. It's separating the people, you know, metaphysically with the beam, but it also separates the two people that are sleeping in the bed together emotionally. So that's not a positive thing. So if you have that, hang wind chimes or a red ribbon or Chinese coins or whatever. So I have all these wind chimes hanging up there, and every time someone comes in the house and they're not used to them, they bang into them, and I feel really awful. I feel real awful for you tall people, because I'm only 5'2", and Eric's almost 6 feet, and sometimes he's hitting those wind chimes, and I feel really bad. But at the same time, it's helping to create a better environment. So they started clink-clanging, clink-clanging. I'm going to keep talking, but I'm going to let Josie in the room. They started clink-clanging, and I was like, okay, earthquake, you know. And then I called my dad right away, and I said, you know, did you feel that? You know, he's like, yeah, the whole table was lurching back and forth. So, excuse me. We are living in interesting times, and apparently it was felt like all the way up to Fredericton, New Brunswick. So that's a long trek, you know. So people are talking about the Creighton fault line, Creigthton. And believe me, I'm a lot better speller than what I just demonstrated. I just suddenly my brain just kind of went and let me talk about that too, because there's been so much happening with me. And maybe you've been feeling it too. Since about like the first week of August, I have not been feeling right. It's not that I've been feeling wrong. I just haven't been feeling the way that I normally feel. It's not really physical. You know, I've been feeling things in my electric body. I've literally, for the first couple of weeks that I was feeling this, because I felt this up until the earthquake the other day. I don't really feel it as much anymore. It literally felt like I was being electromagnetically attacked by like a scalar weapon or something of that nature, because my electric body just did not feel right. And then on top of that, you know, when your electric body doesn't feel right, it causes effects within the physical body. So I was getting headaches, which is incredibly rare for me. So exhausted, I can't even explain it. Like crazy exhausted. And I'm still having quite a bit of that, actually. So yeah, it's still going on. And just feeling like not really like shocks throughout my body, not really like electromagnetic shocks or electric shocks or whatever, but more kind of like pulses. So I've been dealing with that, and I know lots of people have been dealing with that. Crazy amount of tiredness, headaches, crazy dizziness. That's been something weird for me too. And the other thing for me also is I've been feeling high when I'm totally not high. And that's really, really strange to me. And my eyes have been like not as good as they normally were. And it's hard for me to see stuff. And, you know, reading the article, just now, like all the words were just kind of like blurring and everything. And I'm wearing glasses and I don't know what's going on, but something is changing. And I'm willing to bet that something is changing within all of us. And it's just those of us who are really sensitive to it are noticing it. There's another YouTuber who actually just recently talked about this. So I do highly recommend you go check out Leah Turinen's YouTube. And that's youtube.com/user/Leah Turunen. And I'll spell it for you because it's a Finnish name. From what I gather, it's a Finnish name. Leig. Oh my God. Let me start over. Leijaturnen. Let me do it again. Leijaturnen. And she's talking about the fifth night of the ninth wave. And I felt this when the ninth wave started. I can't remember when that was offhand, but it was March. It was in March. I all of a sudden started to feel really, really strange. I'm pretty sure it was March. And now we're in what the Mayans consider the fifth night of the ninth wave. So we are living in interesting times, boys and girls. And, so there are other things happening too. We have a new kitten who we got at the end of June, and Louise, and she's amazing. And she's madly in love with Eric, which makes me so happy because Eric and Josie never really bonded. And both of them are in the room with me now. Josie's in the window and Louise is jumping up on the bed, and they're just both so amazing. If I can get Louise to purr, I'll put her up to the mic. She purrs really easily. Josie, on the other hand, does not purr easily. You have to I don't know. You have to give Josie $1 million and she'll purr. But you just touch Louise and which is wonderful because one of my favorite sounds in the world is a kitten purr. Well, cat purr, period. But she absolutely loves Eric. Like, he passes out on the sofa a lot, and she just goes and lays with him, and she cuddles up next to him, and she's so kissy and lovable, and oh my God, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. Animals are incredible. Aren't they incredible? We have truly been given a blessing on this planet to have all the incredible animals that we have, and all the different kinds of animals, and they love each other so much, Josie and Louise. Louise just jumped up on the window and immediately they're both kissing each other. It is constant. I'm serious. It's a constant lick fest around here. And I absolutely love it. It's amazing. Especially considering, let me tell this story. When we first got Louise and we brought her home, Josie was not very nice. And, let me outline this because most people hate Josie when they meet her because Josie attacks you. She's very territorial. She doesn't really attack me, anymore. And she's since been fixed in the last month too, fixed. I hate that saying. She's since been spayed. When we brought Louise home, she was not nice at all. And Josie has 3 strikes against her. And this is not said to offend anybody, I just know what I'm talking about. She is a Taurus, and when a Taurus is negative, holy shit. They are so moody and so stubborn and so territorial and possessive. And I know what I'm talking about because I've lived my whole life with a Taurus father and a Taurus sister. And when they're in negative areas, not fun. She also, we suspect, because she doesn't look anything like other domesticated cats. She looks a little bit like domesticated cats. She looks like one of her parents was a Siamese and one of her parents was like a regular, run-of-the-mill, I say that in quotes because it's still special, domesticated cat, right? So there's another strike against her. She has some sort of pure breed in a very close lineage, her parents or her grandparents or great-grandparents or something. And it might be Siamese. If it's Siamese, that's a snotty cat. You know, they can be very lovable. They can be really wonderful. And I have nothing against Siamese at all. But just like, you know, the Egyptian Mao, the Bengal, you know, all those other ones that are like pure breeds, they have a bit of an attitude, right? And then on top of that, she's a tortoiseshell. And easily, tortoiseshell is the most aggressive shit disturbery cat that there is. And if you've ever had a tortoiseshell, you maybe know what I'm talking about. We had a tortoiseshell. We still do. My sister has her now, Phoenix. And Phoenix sucked when she was a kitten. Like, it was so funny because she was Candy's cat. And so, like, she and Candy would, like, bond a lot, right? But there would be so many times where Candy would call me from her bedroom and go, Holly, Phoenix is attacking me. And I'd get in there and Phoenix would have her cornered in, like, you know, she'd be in a corner of room, like, cowering because this cat, like, had her claws out. She had her teeth out. She had her ears pinned back and she had that glazed look in her eyes, that murderous look that tortoiseshell cats get. And so I would have to go in there and, like, tap her and I'd go, Phoenix, no, right? So it's just really funny. And she was a tortoiseshell also. So for all of you cat lovers or cat havers, you know, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Tortoiseshells are dicks. So, you know, they really are. Other than that, also what else happened, and this is actually the thing that made me decide to take a break from the show, even though it seems like a piddly reason, but you'd be surprised the pain that's involved in this. I sprained a toe. I sprained my left baby toe. Less fun than it sounds. And I was dealing with that for maybe about 3 weeks. And it was sprained. I could still, like, move it like a centimeter, if that. But yeah, it definitely messed up the bones and everything else like that. I was walking back to the kitchen after, like to get a drink or something. And I literally, like, smashed my foot on the TV stand. And it was one of those kinds of pains where you stop and you just go, ah! You know, because it's like your face is, like, wide open and it's just, like, unbelievable. So, and that's what's really funny too. You know, I've been hit on the head, you know, I've been, like, smacked, you know, like, it's nothing. You know, I've fallen down the stairs, you know, I've fallen off my chair. Like, that's nothing compared to when you sprain or break a toe. And I have never, ever broken anything else. You know, I've never broken a limb or whatever, but I've sprained or broken 3 toes my whole life. So, that made me decide to take a break because I just thought, okay, the universe is telling me I got to do something different. On top of that, around the same time, because I sprained my toe maybe around, like, mid-July. Around the same time, Eric and I went to the beach when my foot started to feel a little bit better. And we like to do this sometimes. We like to, like, lay under the stars on a blanket and chill out there at night and when less people are around. And so we went out there some Saturday night, like maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And my math is probably not right when I say that. Maybe it was 3. It might have been 3 weeks ago. And we had a great time. We were only there for, like, not even an hour because we both had to pee. So we left early. But we were there for not even an hour and I saw 6 crafts. And he saw 2 of the 6 crafts that I saw. And all of them were light orbs, but they were all, like, varying sizes, varying what's that word? Luminescence. You know, some were a lot brighter than others. And there was one in particular that Eric didn't see that just went right over our heads and then disappeared. Like, it didn't make a sound. I'm just telling you, like, how long it lasted. And it was beautiful. It was this bright silvery light and it just moved real quickly. And I was like, did you see that? And he was like, no, I didn't see it. And I was like, okay, I guess it was meant for me, you know? And, but one of the ones that he did see, like, the rest were just light orbs that kind of, like, I'm going to shut the window. Someone's cutting the lawn. One of them, 4 of them were light orbs that were basically, like, in the sky for, like, 5 seconds, and then they kind of faded out. But one of the ones that he noticed with me was this one light orb way off in the distance that was wiggling its way up the sky from the horizon and over our heads. And we were watching it for about 3 minutes before it disappeared. And I tried to get it on camera, but unfortunately we don't have the world's worst camera, but we don't have the world's greatest camera. Like, it's not really great at night. So I couldn't catch it, which was unfortunate for me. I really, really wanted to. And that was really, really fascinating. You know, that was amazing. What else has happened? My music partner, Matthew Demerit, he is amazing. I just want to say that. But he, if you're not aware, I have like 2 music careers. I don't know if career is the right word. Music lines. I don't know. Like, I have my solo stuff, and I'm working on my 3rd album right now, Beacon, which I've been working on for 4 years, but I finally knuckled down, and I've said, okay, I need to pick a date. And the date right now is like August 2012, and I want to release it on a Virgo date, because Virgo is my opposite. I'm a Pisces. If you haven't heard the show before, then that's news to you, but I've mentioned it before, I'm sure. It's my opposite, so there are elements of the Virgo energy that really, really appeal to me. You know, like, I have almost an OCD connection with organizing things. You know, like, I'm a very cluttered person, and that's the Pisces in me. I'm very cluttered, very artistic, very creative. And you should see my computer table. It's got, like, you know, things of paint. It has tons of balls of yarn, you know, books, you know, and every time I clean it up within a day, it's filled with stuff again. So I'm just like, whatever, there's no point. I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing and focus on my projects instead of worrying about cleaning up this cluttered mess, because this is just who I am. But the other side of it is that I'm very organized. Like, if I put DVDs on a shelf, you know, they're in like perfect alphabetical order, you know, and all the files on my computer, I rename everything so that it's filed properly and in the right place, and I make folders for everything. Like, I'm very, very anal about stuff like that. Unlike my sister, who just like downloads whatever, never renames it, and just leaves it like on her desktop or in her downloads folder, and it's just like so frustrating for me. So yes, so I have there are certain elements of the Virgo and energy that really appeal to me, being that it's my opposite. And so I want to release my album on a Virgo date. But I might get it done in February, and I might release it on an Aquarian date. Who knows? It's just, you know, just completely depends upon what happens. And my awesome partner, Matt, is doing... Now, for my solo stuff, I've arranged everything, I've produced everything, I've obviously recorded everything, I've obviously written all the lyrics, but he is mixing and mastering for me. So that's really, really wonderful, because he's so amazing at that. And then we have our stuff. He and I have been in a partnership in our duo Ophir for 4 years, 4.5 years. In March, it was 4 years. And we have recorded dozens of songs, dozens and dozens and dozens. But we have finally decided to release our first album, and we're working so hard towards that. I've been very diligent and very disciplined. I've been recording every single day, and making sure that I am on top of all that stuff. And what he's done is, because I don't do cell phones. Eric doesn't do it either, and but Matt has a cell phone. I believe he has a Droid. And there's a program. I don't know if it's on every cell phone, but I know it's on the Droid. There's a program called U-Loops. And basically, just a bunch of people go on there, and you can create music on your phone. And people post them, and people like share their music and stuff. And people can grab your music, and they can remix it and make their own version of it and that kind of thing. So that's what we've been doing. We've actually, because he has this new platform that we both actually really love, he's been creating all the music on U-Loops, and then he sends me the files in email, and then I write the lyrics and I record it, and then I send not each individual file. You know, I'm not going to get into the huge details, but I send him back all the files, and he EQs them and you know, mixes them and masters the song, and then we put the song up. So if you want to check out any of our stuff, and our album is coming out March 27th, 2012. it is actually, the way we picked it is because it is between our birthdays, right in the center. I'm March 1st. He's April 21st. So I just counted backwards and like counted forwards from my birthday and backwards from his birthday until I found the middle point. And the middle point was March 26th and March 27th. And I said, well, March 27th is Mariah Carey's birthday. And for anyone who doesn't know, as I was growing up, Mariah was like, from the ages of like 11 to like 22 or something, Mariah was like my idol. I absolutely loved her. But then she started to be awful and not be able to sing to save her life, you know, after post 1999. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, Mariah of 1996 was an effing genius. And then everything after that was, it just got progressively worse and worse and worse because it was more and more commercial and it was just awful. So, sorry, Mariah, but get back to your roots because that was better. So Matt was like, well, that's a huge part of who you are as an artist. So let's make it March 27th. So March 27th, 2012 is when our album's coming out. And if you want to check out some of our stuff, go to soundcloud.com/Ophir and Ophir is spelled O-P-H-I-R, and looped obviously is L-O-O-P-E-D. And we also have a YouTube, youtube.com/user/Ophir-looped. And we're not putting up like videos yet. It's just basically like a screen, like just a picture that says like Ophir and the name of the song, and then like Holly Linden and Matthew Demerit, I believe. So what else is happening? We're releasing our albums, finally. And we're doing it digitally. We're not making physical discs. I'm not making a physical disc for Beacon either because, one, it's just like really awful for the environment. Two, it's really expensive. You know, once you start getting into actually pressing albums, that's when, you know, you're spending money. So many people, you know, are digital these days, you know, so for people to just be able to, you know, download an album right onto their computer, not have to go to a store, not have to wait for something to come in the mail. You know, it's, I'm sorry to say, it's so much more convenient, isn't it? So that's what we're doing. What else has happened? Oh my God. I told you about my craft sightings. I told you about the album. Let's talk about the article a bit because this is something that maybe I said this already. This is something that I've gone through, that like I had so many friends that moved on from me, and it was very organic. And, most of my relationships, well, a couple relationships ended in like big blowouts, but there's a reason for that. I mean, like, just as Greg is saying in the article, you know, there's a reason for that, you know, what is it that this person taught you during the time that you were together? You know, my relationship with Leah, that person who, we did that first show with, Choose Earth. And then, you know, that we were only friends for maybe like 9-10 months and really close friends. You know, we shared everything. I told her stuff I didn't tell anybody else. And, you know, when things fizzled out, I realized like, well, they kind of blew up and then fizzled out. I realized that, okay, there's something in this scenario that I need to realize, that I need to understand, you know, why did this happen? And then I think I've related on the show before that it made me realize what I don't want to be, because I found that she was way too activist, you know, way too angry about the world. That's the main thing, to the point of like raging. And I don't want to say mean things about anybody, but that's just how I perceive the whole situation. And I realized that I don't want to be that. I don't want to be so anti everything that I become like an ogre in my own life. I want to enjoy my life. And yes, certain things are shitty and certain things are nefarious, but at the end of the day, I remember all the incredible things about the universe. When I lay down to go to sleep at night, I, in my head, smile to myself and I say, thank you, universe, for all these incredible things. Thank you for this incredible planet. Thank you for my parents and my sister. Thank you for my partner. Thank you for my 2 little babies. You know, thank you for my talents, my creativity, my opportunities, you know, and the list goes on. And I do it every single night because I think it is really, really important to show gratitude. And this actually takes me to a story that I really love telling this story, even though I may forget a couple of the points of the story here and there, but it's a really great story. It was on in the movie The Secret. This one guy, I'm so sorry I don't have his name. This one guy was talking about how he had this rock that he carried with him everywhere. Like, it just not like a huge boulder, right? But like basically a little pebble. And he called it his gratitude rock. And every night, when he would come home from work, after the grind and everything, he would like, be about to take off his pants. So he would take his wallet out of his pockets, and he would take the rock out of his pockets and like any loose change or whatever. And every time he'd plop that little pebble down on his dresser, he would remember at that moment, thank you. Thank you for everything, because that was his gratitude rock. And every time he said it, every time he saw it, he told himself he was meant to say a thank you and give appreciation to the universe for all the amazing things in his life. He had a visitor. From what I understand, this visitor was maybe like a South American visitor or something that came to stay with him or whatever. And I can't remember the whole story, but I highly recommend watching The Secret if you haven't already. And this visitor saw the rock and he said, "What is that?" And he explained it to him. And the visitor thought that this was just like, and when I say visitor, I mean from another country. I don't mean from like up there. He was saying that, I believe the story was that his son was sick and, he thought it was really beautiful and all this other stuff. So he went back to his country of origin and he picked a bunch of rocks off the side of the road. And, I guess what happened was that they needed money for an operation for his son or something like that. I know because I don't know I can't remember all of the points from it. I'm totally taking the magic out of the story, and I'm so sorry, which is why watch The Secret, please, because I'm not doing it justice. But it is beautiful, even in the crappy way I'm telling it. He picked a bunch of like just little rocks, just like the one that the guy had that he visited, off of the beach. And he set up a little table and probably on his front yard or whatever. And he put up a sign that said "Gratitude Rocks, $1." And people were buying them. And I guess it got to the point where he could actually afford to take care of his child or his children or whatever was going on, whatever kind of drama was happening in his life. And I think that's really, really incredible. That, yes, they're just these little pebbles, but, it reminds me of my friend Bibi, who's just an incredible person. I've talked about her before. The first time that I met her, no, it wasn't the first time I met her. It was like the second or the third time that I went and visited her, because she worked at this place in Port Stanley that, I'll just plug them. The store is called Connections, and it's really, really beautiful in there. And they sell like fair trade items and like jewelry and sculptures and things like that. And the second or the third time that I went to visit her at work with Eric, she had these little rocks in a bowl. She had just picked like tiny little rocks off the ground, off the side of the road, off the beach, whatever. And she took a Sharpie and she made happy faces on the rocks. Like just put 2 eyes and a mouth and a smiley mouth. And she picked one of them out for me and she said, "Here, you can have this." And I still have it. Like it's on my computer table among everything else. And every time I see it, I smile and I think of Bibi. And I think that that's so important. That's so incredible. And her story was that she made these rocks to give to people who she thought, who made her smile, or, something to like commemorate the occasion of the two of them meeting. You don't meet many people like this in retail. Many people are just kind of like, "Oh, have a nice day. That'd be $27.52." Like it's just no life there kind of thing, right? But there's so much life in this person. And she no longer works there. She's on her way back. She was just traveling across Canada for, I believe, a month or 6 weeks. So she'll be back soon, which makes me really happy. But I think that's really, really wonderful. So it will always be something amazing between us. Every time I see that rock, I think of Bibi and I send gratitude out to her. I send love out to her. It's just this incredible thing. There's more to Greg's article, and I'm not going to talk much more because I don't want to make all my episodes so long anymore because I don't have the time. I mean, but at the same time, it is really important to me. So I want to be able to give you guys something. I do want to talk about this cute little picture in this article. So Your Awakening Cost You Some Friends. On Greg's site, in5d.com. There's a beautiful picture of a kitten looking into a mirror, and in the mirror there's a picture of a lion. And let me talk about that for a second. I think that is just the most amazing idea. That is just the most amazing picture. Well, probably one of the best pictures I've ever seen, and what it symbolizes. I mean, it's realistic. The way we perceive ourselves is so important to what occurs in the world around us. And, if you look in the mirror and you see somebody that you hate, that you despise, that you're not proud of, that you're embarrassed about, if you feel that you're a failure, or you feel that you're a loser, or you feel that you're stupid or ugly, or anything negative that you can think, you are going to continue to generate the scenarios in your life that mirror that back to you. When you say to the universe, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, the universe goes, okay, your wish is my command. And it says, here you go. And then all of a sudden you quote unquote fail at something, or you quote unquote lose something. And God, my stomach is rumbling. I don't know if you guys can hear it. That's why I mentioned it. So, it's our perception of ourselves is so important. And the universe will continually give you what you ask for, because the universe is a mirror to your thoughts. So if your thoughts are positive, if your thoughts are like, I'm a freaking genius, I'm a creative mastermind, I'm in control of my own life, I am the decider of my own destiny, I am beautiful, I am special, I am perfect, I am divine, then the universe is going to go, your wish is my command. And you're going to get all the opportunities. You're going to get happy things happening to you. And amazing people are going to come into your life who see you that same way. And like I said, let me just ingrain this. The universe is a mirror to your thoughts. So whatever you think manifests, because the mirror of the universe reflects it back to you. And it really is that simple, and I remember times in my life, I'm sure I've talked about my depression on the show before. It's been a while since I talked, so I'm starting to forget what I talked about. I've had times in my life where I've been so depressed that I just continually kept dragging myself down and down and down and down. And the universe kept saying, okay, and shrugging and loading a bunch of crap on me, because that's what I was expecting. I was expecting shit to happen, and shit happened. And instead of, it's very different for me now. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but the amount of not yet, eventually I'll tell you, the opportunities that have happened in my life just in the last 6 months has completely expanded my mind, because I never really expected it. But at the same time, I was sitting here saying, I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I am perfect, I am divine. And thanking the universe all the time for the amazing opportunities and the amazing people, the amazing scenarios that are in my life. And everything is incredible. We are living in amazing times. We really are. But I wanted to let you in on that if you don't know it already. And I recommend listening to my second episode, Ho'oponopono and the Law of Attraction, if you haven't already, because I do cover a lot of this about your perception and about how what you think manifests in your life, and the universe gives it to you. The universe gives you what you want, and so this picture is really great, of a kitten looking in a mirror and seeing a lion, and it reminds me of a quote that I heard a really long time ago, a really great cat quote, which is, in the dark, every cat is a jaguar. And that's so true. It is so inherent. Look at us. I mean, it's so inherent in us that we are these powerful spirit beings having a human experience. And, in the dark, we are all incredible spirit beings. We are all incredible lights, and that bring the truth and bring the love and bring the light and bring the peace, man. So We are worth so much more than what they've told us. And I think actually, now that I've said that, I'm going to finish the show off. When I finish it off, I'm going to finish it off in a few minutes. I'm going to finish this episode with one of Oprah's newest songs, Priceless, because it outlines that we are not what they told us. We are more than what they told us, you know? But there's still a little tiny part left to Greg's article. That was his article, but then he put in this little thing, because his last line was, forgive yourself as well as your friends if you feel badly about this. They came into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And then he included this cute little, brilliant, it's cute, but it's brilliant, little write-up that author unknown has written. And I've seen this before, like through emails and stuff like that. Maybe you've seen it too, but I'm going to read it now. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you figure out which one it is, you will know what to do for each person. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need you have expressed. They have come to assist you through a difficulty, to provide you with guidance and support, to aid you physically, emotionally, or spiritually. They may seem like a godsend, and they are. They are there for the reason you need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part, or at an inconvenient time, this person will say or do something to bring the relationship to an end. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they walk away. Sometimes they act up and force you to take a stand. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire fulfilled. Their work is done. The prayer you sent up has been answered, and now it is time to move on. Some people come into your life for a season because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something you've never done. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. Believe it. It is real, but only for a season. Lifetime relationships teach you lifetime lessons, things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lesson, love the person, and put what you have learned to use in all other relationships and areas of your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. And it's by author unknown. I do really, really love that, because it's very, very true. And actually, getting back to what I was saying about like failing, seeing yourself as a loser or a failure or whatever, a friend of mine, I'm not going to say who, a friend of mine is going through difficulty in their marriage, where their marriage is crumbling. And this person is saying, you know, I'm a failure. You know, I've completely failed at this. And I keep telling this person, you're not a failure. You know, just because a relationship ends doesn't mean it failed. You know, it maybe means that that was all you needed to learn from that person, and that was all they needed to learn from you. And it does not, a relationship ending, friendship, family, marriage, or significant other or whatever, if it ends, it does not signify that you have failed at something or you have lost at something. Life isn't a game, you know, even though life is very illusory, you know, and we're all playing these roles, you know, life is a little more serious than what a game is, you know, and ending a relationship does not mean that it failed at all. It just means that you have served each other's purposes, and that is it. So if you're going through that also yourself, you're at a time where something is ending, a relationship, a situation, whatever, remember that you're not failing. You're not losing. It's impossible. It is impossible for you to fail, because you know what? You are great. You are the epitome of perfection. And even though you're standing there and it seems like the buildings are just crumbling around you and the walls are falling down and everything is dust and in a shambles and everything is exactly as it perfectly is meant to be. Because you, as the master of your life and the creator of your life, you have created this environment. So based upon the fact that you are responsible for everything that happens in your life, quote unquote happens, and you create everything that quote unquote happens in your life, these things falling down around you is meant to happen. After this happens, you know, it's like the saying, I think I've said it on the show before, the old house has to be demolished before the new house can be built. So if you're at a low point, they say, there's no place to go but up, basically, right? It's the same kind of feeling. You can't start a new life. You can't start a new relationship. You can't start a new lease on life without demolishing the old one. And this is what we're seeing right now within our governments and our religions and our de-education system and the quote-unquote medical corporation, that these things are starting to crumble because these people are becoming so very desperate. And to me, that's hilarious because it's about effing time. But they're starting to crumble. That paradigm is starting to definitely fall apart. And that's wonderful because in its place, we can build something loving. We can build something creative. We can build something open and unifying and fucking fabulous. And that's what we need to do. And when it comes to relationships, it's the same thing. Don't let yourself drown unless you really need to drown. I mean, I've been in that area in my life too where a relationship ended and I drowned. I literally drowned myself. Well, not literally, obviously. I drowned myself figuratively in for over a year, based upon the fact that this person was no longer in my life. And I look back on that and I look back on that relationship and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm glad that's over with, because it wasn't anywhere near as good as it possibly could be. I look at what I have with Eric and it's so far surpasses any other relationship I've ever had with anybody. So, be true to yourself. These are the messages for today. Be true to yourself. Love yourself. Look in that mirror and realize that you are fantastic, that you are the creator and the created, and you are so important. The world would not be the same without you, and the world wouldn't be the same without me, and you got to realize that. Make your thanks, make your amends, forgive people, and forgive yourself, especially because that quote makes me a little emotional, saying that. Forgive yourself because you are an incredible specimen. I am so happy to share this planet with you this time around. And, I hope that, portals do open up and we do get to shift into 5D. And I hope all that stuff is true because it feels true vibrationally. It feels really true to me. But I still want to see that happen, and, as David Wilcock says, after, December 22nd, 2012, I'll meet you there at the I Told You So party, and, we are living in incredible times. We are going to see some cataclysms and earthquakes and tsunamis and craziness and everything else like that. But if we band together, if we unify, if we revolt against the people that have put us within the sick confines of society and conditioning, if we stand up against them, we can conquer anything. That's what's incredible. We are powerful beings. And there's a really great quote that I'm going to leave with you before I finally wrap up episode 11. And by the way, I'm much more proud of this episode than I was of the original one that I did at the beginning of August. I'm glad I finally did it. There's a really great quote. I can't remember who says it. I wish I could. I have so many quotes and ideas in my head that sometimes, the actual details just disappear. And the quote is, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And I want you to think about that because there's a lot to stand up for right now. And we need you. For all of you who are thinking about quitting and all of you who are thinking about just not dealing with it anymore, stop it. We need you. You are amazing, and your power will help to bring this planet together and unify us and take us in this incredible new direction where we can check out the scatter that's all around us and check out the demolishment. I don't know what you would say. We could check out the scatter and the ruins around us, and we can build brand new and so much better. I hope you're all having just an incredible day. And August 26th, it's, we're getting up there, I hope I see you again really, really soon. I am going to, like I said, try to do an episode at least once a month. I love every single one of you. You have made my life so much brighter. You have really brought your light to the party, and I will forever be thankful for that. And I hope you're doing wonderfully. And I hope you enjoy Oprah's newest song, Priceless, because that's what you are. You're completely priceless. See you soon.
Hello, come closer. I have a secret to tell. For years you've lived delusional paradise, so I will dehydrate the well. Blatant conditioning poisons our ears, eyes, and minds. We can conquer the cabal once we realize a truth so simple to find. We are not powerless, we are not defenseless, we are all priceless, we are more than they've told us. We are not powerless, we are not defenseless, we are all priceless, we are more than they've told us. Hello, come closer. I have something to convey. The leaders of our lands have joined up, proclaim this new world order day. But we hold the scepter, the power to change their plans. We can save our glorious terra if we unite plant, animal, and man. We are not powerless, we are not defenseless, we are all priceless, we are more than they've told us. We are not powerless, we are not defenseless, we are all priceless, we are more than they've told us. Each one of us can change the world for everything and everyone. Each one of us has the energy of a quadrillion suns. Hello, come closer. We're getting closer.